Acts chapter 15, starting at verse 16.
Okay.
After this, I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David. And here we're talking about what the Gentiles, what the responsibility of the Gentiles are concerning the Sabbath. So it says, after this I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down, and I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up, and that the residue of men might seek after Yahweh, and the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith Yahweh, who doeth all these things. Known unto Elohim are all his works from the beginning of the world. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to Elohim, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollution of idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood. For Moses of old time hath in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogue every Sabbath day. They're being taught, okay, the Gentiles, or in the quote unquote Old Testament, the stranger, okay, are being taught to keep the Sabbath just like Moses kept the Sabbath.
That's right.
Okay, so this thing is supposed to still be being taught in our churches.
And just like when you read in verse 20, most Christians use that and say, well, see, all we gotta do is abstain from things offered, abstain, from pollution of idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled from blood. That's the only thing we gotta do. Because James and Peter told them that's what we gotta do when Paul and Barnabas went to Jerusalem. They went to Jerusalem, first of all, to seek their elders, you see what I'm saying, and what to do on this issue of circumcision. So he clearly told them to sustain from these things. We're not going to burden them right now because they don't know anything about this law. You see what I'm saying? The law ain't been taught among them. The law is taught among us, and we are to pass it to the nations according to the scriptures.
Absolutely.
So he says, for Moses of old time hath in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogues every Sabbath day. This is from old time. So we know this is an old custom. Second of all, in essence, he's saying they'll get the law. They're gonna learn what they need to be doing and what they don't need to be doing, because it's taught every Sabbath day. That's what the message of that passage was. Not that's all we gotta do. We ain't gotta worry about everything else. See how if you take a little and twist it, how it could be used for an occasion of lawlessness. All right.
All right. Let's go to chapter 13, the same book, Acts 13, starting at verse 42.
It says, and when the Yehudim, or Jews, were gone out of the synagogue, the Gentiles besought that these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath. Why didn't he just say Sunday? Preach it to us the next day. They said the next Sabbath. The Gentiles said this. The strangers said this. Not the Israelites. They had already left. Okay? Now when the congregation was broken up, many of the Jews, or the Yehudim, and religious proselytes followed Shaul, or Paul and Barnabas, who speaking to them persuaded them to continue in the grace of Elohim. Verse 44. And the next Sabbath day came almost the whole city together to hear the word of Elohim. Why didn't they just come down Sunday, or Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday? All the names of these days of the week, these Gregorian days of the week. Because the Sabbath is set apart. It's different from every other day. We don't have to judge you on the day. Yahweh set the judgment on this thing.
That's right.
I don't have to judge you on you keeping the Sabbath. I'm not going to judge you because I'm not a judge. But I do know the law. You see what I'm saying? I do know the law. I'm not going to judge you on it because that's not my job. But I do know the law, and I'm sanctioned and charged to tell you. All right?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, let's go ahead and, you finish with that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All All right, we're wrapping this thing up. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 4. Hebrews chapter 4.
And this, again, this is only for those who have ears to hear. You know, the scriptures already said, hearing they did not hear, and seeing they did not see. Some will not. This is only for those who Yahweh has called. And if he has called you to hear these things and this truth, you will hear it.
Hallelujah.
Point blank.
Chapter 4, verse 1 of Hebrews, it says, let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us from entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. It says, for unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with the faith in them that heard it. For we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day, on this wise, and came Elohim, and Elohim did rest the seventh day from all his works. Okay, we're still talking about this in the book of Hebrews. Okay,
and it's more the spiritual side of the rest, the spiritual meaning of the Sabbath. Go ahead.
And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest, seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached enter not in because of unbelief. Okay, again he limiteth a certain day, saying in David, today, after so long a time, as it is said, today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. For it is Joshua. For if Joshua had given them rest, then would he had not afterward have spoken of another day?
I just want to put emphasis on where it says Joshua. In some text it says Jesus. If you have a study Bible, it'll read in the notes, it says Joshua. It's talking about the son of Nun who led them into the land of Canaan, or to the promised land. It's talking about him. It's an erroneous translation, actually. So actually the name is Joshua, or in the Hebrew Yahshua, which is the same name of the Messiah, Yahshua. Do your research on that. Questions, comments, just hit us up on that.
Okay, verse 9.
Okay.
There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of Elohim, for he that is entered into his rest, he also hath ceased from his own works, and as Elohim did from his.
Okay, want to stop there. And this is just putting more emphasis on what we read in Isaiah, with chapter 58. Cease from doing your own will, speaking your own words, doing your own things on the Sabbath. This is a perfect example from that. Now you're entering into the true rest. You see what I'm saying? It is a day, but at the same time, the spiritual side of it, entering into the rest of the Most High, doing your own things. You see what I'm saying? Do His will. Do the things that please Him. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, go ahead.
Also, brother, man, I just like to say this. Do your own research. Read the whole chapters. We're reading verses for time's sake and stuff, and we're trying to, be, pinpoint, saying things. But read the whole chapter. That way you don't feel like we're just giving you a little bit and not giving you the full context. Read for yourself. When all else fails, keep reading. Okay? That's what I'm going to advise you to do.